SUKHI HOTHU Dhammaputris and Dhammaputras. I have been very fortunate to have Venerable Nandasara all the way from Myanmar, who is studying in the Kelani University for his masters, to visit our Asoka Aramya and share with us this afternoon some of his insights into the study of the Buddha Dhamma, and specifically on certain subjects of his liking or choice. Let me begin by inviting Venerable Nandasara to say a few things about himself so that our viewers would better understand who Venerable Nandasara is.
Yes.
Please, Ven.
Yeah, SUKHI HOTHU. I'm Reverend Nandasara. I'm from Myanmar. I'm arrived to Sri Lanka in 2019, and I'm studying at the Postgraduate Institute of Pali and Buddhist Study for my master degree in Buddhist Study. Then I passed my exam with the first class merit, and I won the gold medal award as well. And now I'm studying, as you mentioned before, I'm studying the Buddhist Ayurvedic counseling at the Kelani University, PJ and PBS also. And on the other hand, I'm preparing for my PhD in Buddhist study. Yes.
Very good, Venerable. Even from my little brief encounter with you, I know that you are a very studious, very committed, very devout student of the Buddha Dhamma. And I'm also pleased to find out that Venerable is researching and doing case studies on a field which I feel is going to be a major contribution to scholarship, not just Buddhism, to scholarship in general, because Ayurveda is always associated with medicine, with non-intrusive medicine from an ancient history or past. But in terms of psychotherapy, I don't think there's been much research or studies on it. So I wish you all the best, and I'm sure that Venerable will be able to make some contribution, viewing Ayurveda from the Buddhist perspective, and in terms of psychotherapy application to solve some of the problems that we face in everyday life.
Yes.
Can you please elaborate, Venerable?
Yes. Actually, Buddhism is beyond the psychology. Yes, of course, but Buddha teachings are multi-dimensional pedagogy. So if you want to use in the psychology field, also okay, we can use it, the Buddhist teaching, because of multi-dimensional pedagogy, right? So, but we have different goals. For example, when we study psychology, when I was young, I studied psychology and also neuroscience. Before I obtained a monk, I studied psychology, and you know, we have different goals. For instance, in psychology, we study to describe the mind, to describe our mind and our behavior, and to predict our mind. So, but in Buddhism, we study for what? We study for the ultimate happiness, sustainable happiness, right? So we have different goals, but of course we can use it in psychology areas with the Buddhist study, and Buddhist study with the psychology. Yeah, we can use it, and Buddhist psychotherapy as well. But here we can use, I don't want to name like Buddhist psychotherapy, but we can name it. Especially I like the word Dhamma therapy. Dhamma therapy is in this context, Dhamma is the fundamental teachings of the Buddha. So how we can cure the mental problems of the clients, and then how we can support the client with the Buddhist teachings. So this is important. As a Buddhist man also, I think this is our responsibility to do for our society, right? So in the Dhamma therapy, in the context of Dhamma therapy, right? The Dhamma is the fundamental teachings of the Buddha, like the Four Noble Truths, and the Noble Eightfold Path, or also Paticcasamuppada, and the theories of karma, and the karma and punabhava, the rebirth, right? So all these contests, all these fundamental teaching, we can use this in the psychotherapy. And also mindfulness. Nowadays, a lot of Western, even in the Western psychology, they use the mindfulness as their therapeutic process. So, for example, I will show you the example of the Four Noble Truths. So, Four Noble Truths, the first one is the suffering, right? Dukkha. So, Dukkha is the kind of, we try to analyze that, we try to understand what is suffering. What is the issue? What is the problem? So, if we use in the psychotherapy, what is the mental illness? So, what are the symptoms? We try to analyze and like diagnostic process. And then Samudiyasisa as the cause of the problems, cause of the suffering. So, what are the cause of the mental illnesses? We can use this, right? And Nirodha is the prognosis, like a prognosis. And finally, Magga is the treatment process for the client, treatment process for the psychological suffering. So this is the therapeutic process. We can use like that. So that's why at the time of Buddha, people describe to the Buddha as a great counselor, but they use the word as the Bhikkhu, Mahanubhava Bhikkhu. Mahanubhava Bhikkhu is a physician, right? But the Buddha, he not use the drugs or anything, any medicine, but he used meditations and other psychotherapeutic process. So yeah, Bhikkhu is we can use the great counselor. He counsels and he encourages the client. In the one sutta, the Buddha said, rejoice, Tiksa. With the benefit Tiksa, the Buddha said, rejoice, Tiksa, rejoice. I will assist you. I will advise you. I will aid you. And I will assist you, he said. It means Ovadina. Ovadina means advice. So psychotherapy also we use, right? Advice therapies. And then I will assist you. I will aid you. I will aid you is Anugahina. Anugahina is the aid. And then finally, I will instruct you. Anusasana. So the Buddha used this process. Ovadina, Anugahina, Anusasana. Well, this process is the counseling process. The Buddha's always used like that. And as a psychotherapist also, we can describe the Buddha as a psychotherapist, like great psychotherapy, excellent psychotherapy here. At the time of Buddha, when a person is the Buddha in the I forgot the sutta name, whatever. Okay, Sunakata Sutta. Yeah, in the Sunakata Sutta, the Buddha said, when a person is being attacked by an arrow, or poison arrow. So what you have to do? You have to pull it out, and then we have to cut the wound and put it out the poison. Yeah, extract the poison, and then we heal it with the medicine. Likewise, we already have a poisoned arrow, right? When we were born, according to the Buddha's teaching, this is suffering, right? So we already have a poisoned arrow. So we need to pull it out. We don't have the chance to get another poisoned arrow, right? So firstly, we need to pull it out, and then we need to heal. We need to try to heal the wound with the Dhamma, right? Likewise, that's why Buddha is surgeon. The Buddha is surgeon. But he operates not the physical body, but our mental. That's why the Buddha is the excellent psychotherapist. How do you say? Salakatta Anuttaro. So yes, we have a lot of materials in the Buddhist teaching. We have uncountable materials to use in the psychotherapy to help our people, to help the society. We can use it, but depending on your perspective, how you want to use. This is the multidimensional. But as a byproduct, we use as a byproduct. Actually, our goal is to attain the ultimate happiness. But for the sustainable happiness also, we can use it. for the daily life also we can use it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's my understanding on Buddhist teachings, like multidimensional pedagogy, and but as a byproduct or nibbana, we can use for our daily lives.
Thank you so much, Venerable.
Thank you.
I'd like to synthesize some of the things that Venerable says because they're so important, and because there are some insightful thoughts that you have shared with our viewers. Number one, most Venerable has mentioned that Buddhism is a whole body of knowledge which is related to psychotherapy. Because aside from the Buddha being referred to as Bisakko, psychologist or psychiatrist par excellence, he recognized that we are mind and body. That is a reality, that we are mind and we are body. Unfortunately, we are not mindful of that fact, and therefore we only look at the body part of things, because that's how we have been brought up, or that's how society looks at. But this is the first time that we have an opportunity through the Dhamma, and again Venerable mentioned that Venerable prefers to use the word Dhamma instead of Buddhism, because Buddhism actually is not a normal term for the teachings of the Buddha. It is an English term brought by the English people, speaking people, to put ism and Buddhism, Buddha and ism, and make it Buddhism. But what the Buddha taught was the Dhamma. It means applies to everybody. This is a very important point Venerable made. And the third point is, Venerable, you have mentioned that aside from we being mind and body, that there is no escape. That means this is what we are. We unfortunately don't look at the mind, we don't understand the mind, and we do not know what the mind is, and yet this is the most important constituents of the human being, that influences, that impacts our thinking, our speech, and our behavior. So I'm glad Venerable had highlighted this point.
That's why, in other religions, and I'm not criticizing, and others, for example, in medical science, in Western medical science, they emphasize as the human body as a, they have the dualistic idea. Mind is mind, body is body. Sometimes they said like mind is the byproduct of the body. Mind is the byproduct of the brain or something. So actually in Buddhism is a non-dualism. We have mind and body mechanisms. So every problem is come from this mind and body mechanism. All five aggregate, whatever you want to name. Nama, Rupa. So all these problems are come from this mechanism. And then where is happiness? Happiness also in this mechanism.
True.
We trouble with this suffering. We trouble with this mind and body mechanism. We got the it's okay in psychotherapy. We got the highest mental healthiest state, the highest healthy state of the mentality within this paternal body, within this paternal body, within this mind and body mechanism. But we have the therapeutic process is very clear. Just only three: Sila, Samadhi, Panya. It's the three pillars: Sila, Samadhi, and Panya. Is it not the letters, or it's not the step by step? But it is the also mechanism and communicating and interacting each other. Without Sila, there is no Samadhi and Panya. Without Samadhi, without Panya, there is no, right? So interconnected each other. It's like washing your hand. If now the coronavirus, so we need to have, we need to wash our hand. So for example, this is Sila, this is Panya. Like sanitizer is a Samadhi. So to purify our hand, we cannot clean our hand with only one hand, right? So we need two hands, like this two hands, and then sanitizer is like Samadhi. Then we purify our hand, or we purify when we purify our mind also. When we cure our mental problems, when we try to cure our mental problem also, we need to do these three together, like washing your hand. That's my understanding.
The other thing that I am impressed with what Venerable mentioned is in terms of Ayurveda,
Mm-hmm.
it is Venerable is looking at how the Buddha's teachings, the Buddha Dhamma, is able to analyze the problem and investigate the problem and diagnose the
yeah.
problem and find a way out of the problem,
Yeah,
the path.
the prognosis.
That 3 steps that Venerable had mentioned.
Yeah.
Although it is the focus that Venerable is taking in the research in terms of Ayurveda, but it's also in general any problem in life.
Yeah.
Now, there's a very interesting point Venerable made, and that is that all these problems, whatever we have, it may be some illness with the body or some illness with part of the body,
Mm-hmm.
but today modern science has proven that many of that are psychosomatic.
Yeah.
That means the mind has got an influence
Influence.
in creating the problem,
Uh-huh.
and also has got the ability to improve or to
Yeah.
get you out of the problem.
Yes.
In other words, it's also the problem, the
Mhm.
cause, and also the way out of it.
Yeah.
Because if you understand that it is the cause, then you look at the cause and you either preempt it
Mhm.
or you remove it.
Yeah.
Both ways. So in that sense, I think there will be a major contribution
Yeah,
by
that's why
Venerable.
Buddhism only find for the everlasting solution. Everlasting solution, not for the temporary.
Mm.
When we try to give the treatment for the client, we have to find an everlasting solution for the client. Everlasting solution is the most important, right?
The other thing that struck me was Venerable talked about coronavirus,
Mm-hmm.
which is happening today.
Yeah.
The whole world is wondering what to do. But so far, I have hardly come across a viewpoint where the Dhamma, the Buddha Dhamma, is so much relevant to how to cope with the coronavirus.
Uh-huh.
The first thing that impresses me personally is that we forget that the coronavirus attacks the respiratory system.
Yeah.
We all talk about coronavirus, but we don't even think of the fact that it has got an impact on prana,
Yeah.
which is the breath.
Yeah.
And in Buddhist meditation, as
Yeah.
Venerable mentioned, the breath is so important.
Yeah. The first
so
thing
important.
and the
And-
fundamental.
Yeah, so fundamental. Venerable rightly mentioned of the mind. The breath is also fundamental.
Yeah.
And in bhavana, the Buddhist practice
Yeah.
or concept and understanding of how to train and develop this mind, how to cultivate this mind, and how to develop a mental culture, the breath is the most important element.
Yeah.
All the meditation practices focus on the breath. Now that we have understood that, we can encourage the whole world to look within. First of all, understand our own breath
Mm.
and take care of this breath, because when we are born,
What's that?
we start with the breath. When we die, the breath goes away from
Yeah.
us. But we assume it as though it is
We forgot.
just taking for granted.
Yeah.
But that is what is keeping us alive.
Yeah.
So now, hopefully, with the understanding that corona attacks the breath,
Mhm.
and therefore we have to be careful of the breath. We have to be careful how we breathe,
Mhm.
what we breathe, and how to protect this, and also to look at the breath to look after our own health.
Yeah, for the
And-
society as well.
Yeah,
right?
and society. So I am glad Venerable mentioned all these things, and this will shine new light
Yeah.
to give a new perspective and understanding to the coronavirus, to the world, and to even other global challenges,
Yeah.
environmental challenges,
Yes,
and
yes.
various other challenges we have.
Yeah.
This will have impact.
Mhm.
Venerable, please share with us whatever else you like to share in terms of your experience and your interest in the Buddha Dhamma. I know you have a great appetite and interest for psychotherapy, but what about applying this psychotherapy in everyday life, Venerable?
Yeah. So
In terms of teaching people.
yeah. So when we have to start with the behavior transformation, right? So we need to change our behavior even in our daily life. So why our behaviors are killed? Why our behaviors are abnormal? The thing is, before you mention, lack of mindful. Even we didn't mindful on our breath. So that's why our behaviors are become killed and our behaviors are abnormal. So firstly, we need to change our behavior. In the point of view like sila. Sila is the kind of behavioral transformation method, or whatever you want to, if you want to say moralities or virtues, or actually sila change your behavior, moral behavior, your physical behavior also, right? It change, and even your thinking process also sila change. And after that, we need to develop our mentality. We need to manage our emotion. So that is the mental development, is samadhi. Samadhi is for the development process of our mentality. And nowadays it's an emotional management or EQs. Or, So without samadhi, we cannot manage our emotion. We cannot cope. For example, nowadays coronavirus, people are being panicked or fears, they're scared about the coronavirus or whatever. If we didn't cook this emotion, if we didn't deploy our mentality, how we can cook this emotion?
We get other problems.
We get other problems. That's why panic buying and other, when we stuck in the home after lockdown, so we frustrated, and then we make the problem in the own family, right? Inside the home, we make the problem. Because we didn't control our emotion. We cannot manage our emotion. So, coronavirus can attack your lungs, of course. In the other hand, it will attack your brain also. Your emotional process, he attacks. Because we didn't deploy our mentality. And then finally, cognitive. So we need to try to develop our cognition process also with the Buddhist teaching of Panya. So these three, Sila, Samadhi, Panya, as I mentioned before, Sila, Samadhi, Panya is the most important thing for your daily life. To change your behavior, to develop your mentality, to manage your emotion, for your cognitive process, Sila, Samadhi, Panya.
And very good.
Yeah, it's a kind of therapeutic process. And not only for the psychology, okay, also for the environment also. For nowadays we have a lot of environmental crises like climate change and other natural disaster. So how we can solve this problem? We can solve with this problem with Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Why? What are the cause of the environmental crisis? What are the cause of the environmental problem? It is comes from our desire, our human being desire. That's why, right? I wrote articles about the environmental crisis, like that. I named like angry art. The art is angry. Actually, he wants to rotate on his own axis. He wants to rotate on the south and north poles. The art, but now he is rotating on the need and desire for the human being. Then he got angry. The art is angry, then he trying to destroy himself because he frustrated. So he tried to destroy himself, and he tried even his natural resources also. So if you want to solve this problem, environmental problems, because of the angry art. So if you want to solve this problem, let it come down. Just let it come down, and then give the chance him to rotate his own exit. Now the art is rotating on the desires of the people. Now, the fundamental is all the environmental crises come from your desire. So to control your desire, we have to change our emotion. We have to try to develop our mentality. We need to change our behavior, even eating behavior also. Everything we need to change, right? Sustainability also. These are the behavior. And then we need to change our cognitions, like environmental education. We need to have environmental education, and then from that point, we can change our cognitive process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
One other aspect I'd like to share with the most venerable is that while we describe the situation, it is a descriptive aspect of what is happening and why are we having environmental problems, and also to some extent showing us what are the major factors and how to cope with them or how to overcome them. Another aspect or another window to this is what the Buddha referred to as avidya, ignorance.
Ignorance, yeah.
We are doing this because we are ignorant.
Yeah.
That is one of the primary factors.
Yeah.
Because we are ignorant, we do not know any other better way except to be materialistic. That's how the TV is telling you to behave. That's how the radio is telling you to behave. That's how all the producers of the products are telling you, buy this, buy this good. And then you are looking at the material world and material way of satisfying your sensual desires.
Yes, yeah.
Then you only look at the sensual aspects. So you want to massage your senses. You like to have nice smelling things, nice tasteful things, listen to all these things. So there is also the production of these things. So the world economy is satisfying the sensual pleasures and also the material pleasures. So it is out of ignorance we are doing that. And there is no balance, there is no middle path. So hopefully, most venerable, if we can now, as the Buddha mentioned, remove this ignorance, avidya, by first of all, showing them through right understanding.
Yeah, that's the more important.
Right understanding, Samma Ditti.
Yeah.
Through right understanding, then people know what exactly is the right thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see something, but we know, no, that's not the way. Maybe somebody is promoting something, we know that's not the way. A right understanding will, I think, as the Buddha had already demonstrated 2,500 years ago, 2,500 years ago, that these are very, very fundamental gaps or drawbacks or weaknesses or faults in our own human development. Although we are technologically, scientifically,
materially
highly advanced, but these areas we are very ignorant.
That's why we need to balance these two developments or three developments. Of course, materialistic development is important. Of course, we need it. Especially for the lay people, lay society, they need the materialistic development. But on the other hand, they need mental development, also spiritual development. So if we cannot balance the world and it's worse and worse. The natural disaster is worse and worse.
And of course, the Buddha also mentioned about the interdependence and inextricable interrelationship between nature and the human being, that we are part of nature. There is no way we can be away from nature. And maybe the first religious teacher who recognized this and who had the highest gratitude for nature, because he worshipped the Bodhisattva as soon as he got enlightenment, and from the day he had become a Samanera, or went to seek the noble, search the noble truth, till his Parinibbana, he was with nature. He was close with nature.
He born under the tree. He got enlightened
under tree.
And then he passed away under the tree. He preached a lot of Dhamma under the tree.
So here is one outstanding example, unparalleled example of a very enlightened person who had recognized the importance of nature, and who asked us also to respect, to safeguard and protect nature. Maybe, Venerable, we should promote this aspect of the Buddha Dhamma and
Yeah.
the Buddha himself as an example, as a role model of a person
Yeah.
who understood the importance of
importance of
nature and who lived accordingly. And hopefully we can then promote and make more people appreciate this aspect and be able to have a harmonious relationship with nature, which is now in a very, very, very
Yeah.
precarious state.
We need to share such kind of education for whatever, environmental education or Buddhist education. But we need to share to the society, especially Buddhist country, because our Buddhist countries are normally developing country, right? For example, Sri Lanka, our country Myanmar, we're a developing country. We need to improve such kind of knowledge, such kind of education, with the environmental education, Buddhist education. We need to improve it. As a monk, as a writer, we need to encourage to get. We need to support to get such kind of education, such kind of knowledge. I think this is our responsibility. Like before you mentioned, right understanding. For the right understanding of the society, this is our responsibility to do that. That's why I would like to collaborate with you in this area. I would like to collaborate with you. That's why.
Thank you so much, Venerable. You're most welcome. This place is open to you as it is open to anybody.
Yeah.
This Asoka Aramya is a platform. It's an open house for anybody who has Buddha Dhamma as his goal to share with the rest of the community and the rest of the world. They are most welcome to come and use the facilities here and help in training, help in propagating, help in guiding others also in the same light. On that note, most Venerable, if I could urge you, Venerable, to try and see how we can develop a curriculum, how we can develop a curriculum to encourage little ones, teenagers and adults to develop a mental culture through educational system where they are able to respect and safeguard nature. Then at least one aspect of a global challenge that the whole world is facing, and they have been facing this for a long, long time, but no solution so far, becoming worse and worse and worse. It is not improving at all.